What's up, my friends? It is Danny Gallows, of course, and welcome back to another vlog. What are we on now? 23? I think this is 23 now, so we're getting into it now, and getting going, and having a lot of fun on this channel, doing my vlogs. I knew that it was something that I wanted to do, because I just, I can't sit around like, talking to myself all day. Like I might as well turn the camera on when I have thoughts. Like I might as well turn the camera on and just come talk, to you guys who are in there in camera land right now. I might as well share my thoughts with somebody out there on the YouTube sphere. So here I am. Now today I wanted to talk to you guys. I was searching through my notebook. I was like, what do I want to talk about today? Like, what am I in the mood to kind of like sit down and film today? And talk about, because sometimes I'll have things that I want to film, but most of the time I just turn on the camera and I'm like, like this is what I'm feeling today. And today was definitely one of those days because I would just I just got off work and I'm just getting ready to go down to to my corner store just to pick up basically I'm just going to pick up some supplies for the 4th of July, just beer and some snacks, and I don't do like fireworks. I used to do that when I was a kid. I used to set up fireworks and make bombs and stuff like that. I'm sure I will regale you guys with one of those tales probably soon, because it is the season. I'll probably sit down and tell you guys about the bombs I made and stuff like that back when I was a kid. But nowadays I don't really do that stuff. Like I don't get sparklers and morning glories and all these kind of like stuff that you can get over the counter and stuff like that. I'm just not into going off and setting off fireworks by myself and stuff. But I do like to get some beer for the 4th of July. Sit down, so a lot of places are doing live streams. You can go on YouTube and they'll have live streams from all over the place, New York and even like, in foreign countries and stuff like that are doing them. And it's really cool because YouTube has live streams, you can just go, New York and, Texas or California or Washington or whatever, you can just go down, even when the fireworks are over in your area, you can watch them before or after they go off too, so you have this whole kind of like, day of events going on. Although living on the East Coast here, our fireworks pretty much go off first. So I'll be watching the live streams though after, definitely. But yeah, like I said, I'd like to get some beer, like to get some snacks and just chill, watch a couple of my favorite movies, usually 90s movies. I'll probably watch something like Rush Hour or something in that kind of vein, in the 90s vein. Get a little buzz going, just kind of relax and then go out and find a place for the fireworks. If you guys joined me for my vlog yesterday, I was out walking around the Eastern Prom trying to find, places to go, and, as much searching as I did yesterday, I think I'm probably still going to be looking for my own kind of area to go. Oh man, that was freaky. I thought I saw a ghost. But it should be fun this year. I mean, the Eastern Prom in Portland is just a perfect place to go view fireworks. It's just awesome out there. It's just a beautiful spot to view it. Although, it's going to be packed with a lot of people, definitely. So that's one part I'm not looking forward to. Anyway, getting sidetracked as usual, going out to get some supplies for 4th of July. And, I'm pulling out pretty much like the last of my money. The last of my money for this week, right now is basically just some pocket change, and I pulled some of it up here to show you, and because I wanted to talk just like a little bit about money. Money really bothers me. I mean, it really does. It's just, because I was just like looking at this. I mean, look, just look at these. I have a $20 bill and I have a $1 bill. Common, U.S. currency, whatever. And I just like, you just look at these things, like these pieces of paper here, and you're like, all right, so this one can get me like all kinds of stuff, but this one doesn't get me anything. They feel the same, they're made out of the same material, one says 20 and one says 1, and it's like, you can do something with one, but you can't do something with the one, with this one here, and it brings to mind like how just, ridiculous currency is. Just like not all around the world, but just like, especially here in the United States, where like we ran out of gold in like the 30s. I think we ran out of gold, and ever since then the government has just been printing money. Like, we just kind of print money, and it exists as this like invisible barricade between everything in the world. Like, you can't do anything without it. Like, you can't eat without it, you can't live without it, you can't move without money, you can't do anything, you can't transport yourself without money. You know, it's so ridiculous. And like, I'm especially thinking about that now when, you know, like, America wants us to be consumers. Well, okay, you want me to be a consumer, like, give me some money, you know what, like pay us some more, or just do away with money. You know, I mean, money is just, you know, you've heard that age-old saying, you know, money is the root of all evil. You know, it really is. It's just, you know, money corrupts people when they have too much and too little. You know, it's like the polar opposites there. And, you know, I mean, really think about that. Like, all the richest people in the world, like, cause basically the most problems for us because they have the most money, and usually they're these large corporations that don't pay any taxes. So it's like they just get to keep all this money, and then they just kind of harbor all of their money, and then that corrupts them, right? Absolutely, the whole, absolute power corrupts absolutely. But then on the opposite spectrum of that, the people who don't have any money are just as bad because they're committing crimes, and they're living very stressful, angry lives, feeling that they have to get into drugs and they have to get into crime and all this because they don't have enough. And this, it's part of this whole thing where, like, especially in the United States, again, I live here in the United States, so I use that obviously as an example all the time. The middle class is just kind of just disappearing. The working class is just kind of appearing. There's no middle anymore. It's either you have a lot of money or you're not doing well at all. And unfortunately, over the past couple of years, definitely, I mean, over the past couple of years, I've improved myself, but I've always been riding that line, like right into, like, I'm like, just a couple of steps away from not having the financial stability to be able to have, even this life that I have now. I know everything's fine. I will be able to sustain myself. I'm always able to find jobs and stuff like that. But it makes you think, about, like, what is money? Money, like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing? What is this money? I'm always thinking on, like, a galactic scale. There must be other civilizations out there in our own galaxy, right? Like, are we the only civilization that pays to live on our own planet? Because we're all human souls. Like, we didn't choose to be born here. We're just here. We were created here. We exist here. Here we are. We're just here. None of us asked to be here. But suddenly, when you get here, you're asked by your governments to pay money and then also to pay taxes, but then the richest people don't pay any taxes. They get to keep all their money, but we have to pay more taxes. There's just, I'm not trying to get into all the dynamics of all that stuff. I'm just trying to make that point of, like, what is this paper currency that is this invisible barrier between everything, and does it really have to be between everything? You know what I'm saying? It's like, is there a way that we could, and this is another topic I like to talk about all the time, is there a way that we could switch from being in a monetary society, a society based on monetization and on money, and switch our society into, like, a resource-based society or something like that? Because think about that, we could find a way for everything to be free. If we had, like, wind power and solar power and tide power and all of the harnessing the natural resources of the planet, then energy would be free. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of a sudden you don't have a power company to pay. All of a sudden you don't have even internet and stuff like that. Tesla was talking about free electricity for the entire world back in the 20s and 30s when he was messing around with all of his technology. He was talking about even greater things. He was talking about flying cars and all that stuff way back in the 30s. I think this is technology, that we really need to get a grip on again here in America, definitely, because we have the resources. I think that we can motivate people to just, there's all kinds of resources to use, not just like wind power and solar power and stuff like that, but there's like 3D printing. I mean, people use 3D printing to print off anything basically that they need, right? Well, think about that on a larger scale. You could 3D print houses, you could 3D print skyscrapers, you could 3D print trains and high-speed rails and all the pneumatic tube systems and wind power and solar power and tide power, all the things. You could 3D print these things. And it's like, and once we get into a society that's based off of resources, of course, all of us will have to work to get to that point, to put in the work to get to that point. But once we're in a point where the resources, our planet's natural resources, are the only thing that is driving our economy, well, then we don't have need for money, do we? Because then when things like 3D printing take over, and yes, machines, I am an advocate for machines taking over regular jobs, because people say, how can you say that? How can you say you want machines to take over people's jobs? Well, it's easy. I definitely want a machine to take over my job if I didn't have anyone to pay. Because when you have no one to pay, then you don't need to work. Then you live like the Native American people used to in this country. They all, they used to just sit around and tell stories and carve things and make music and make babies, right? I stole that line directly from Free Willy, man. It's on Netflix right now, and you can hear the old Indian man talking about his people, and that's exactly what he says. And he's right, because the people that used to live in this country, that's exactly what they used to do. They didn't have anything to do because they weren't living in this kind of mess of society, this kind of this human construct of society that we live in now. Because once machines, what we can do, we're too far down the road to change anything. It's not like we can just wipe the slate clean, right? But what we can do is we can start implementing machines into our technology, 3D printing into our technology. You want an apartment? Great. 3D printed. There you go. You don't have to pay rent because your landlord isn't paying anybody rent, because there is no monetary system anymore, because everything's free, where it's based in a resource-based society. You want a guitar, you want a computer, you want anything, boom. Everything is available. There's nobody to pay. There's no businesses to pay. Things are just created for people, and people can have whatever they want. This is how artists can flourish. This is how storytellers and movie makers, right? This is what we need. Again, we don't need, the world doesn't need more businessmen and politicians. The world needs more artists. The world needs to relax and take a break. We don't need war. We don't need to be fighting over land and religion and nothing and money and politics and all this stuff. We don't need to be at war with people. We need to be just focusing on rebuilding our country so that we can switch. We can get out of money. We can stop using money, and we can get into a society where everything is based off of the natural resources of our planet, and if you want something, you just go get it. Food is available, electronics are available, internet is available, power is available, water is available, but everything is just available. Because, like it or not, guys, we may have been living in a certain society up until this point. But around this time is where things can really start to change. I think that we can really, we're living in a great time right now where our society at some point is going to have a drastic change, a drastic paradigm shift, right? And I think that paradigm shift is moving away from moving away from this paper currency that divides people, that barrier between people, and into this society that is really truly the definition of just free. It's a free society where people's imaginations and creativity can just flourish. And anyway, those are just my ideas, but I'm interested to know what you guys think about that, do you guys think that there is a way to make something like that possible, this kind of utopian society, or do you think, no, we can relax monetization in some areas, but we're always going to need some kind of currency, we're always going to need some kind of system of payment, I want to know, do you guys think that, and why do you think that? So thank you guys for joining me for this vlog and this brief rant on money. Please leave all of your thoughts and opinions down below in the Great White Void. I want to know what you guys think about these crazy ideas that I had today. And now I'm going to be off to the store to get my supplies for later. And I will see you guys for tomorrow's vlog, which will be the 4th of July vlog. So until then, take care, guys. and see you later.